It's been a long time. I'll just start every video by telling you a synopsis of the plot, little summary. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert for this whole channel in advance. And on top of movie talk, I'm gonna experiment with some light triggers too. Today's triggers are themed around the movie we're talking about, including a little New York accent whispering later on, because Harvey Keitel has a big role in this film. Okay. I hope you enjoy this first movie talk about a Whoopi Goldberg classic. Sister Act. Sister Act. Sister Act. Sister Act. The movie starts in a Catholic school in the late 60s. A young girl named Dolores Wilson is acting out in class. In a musical way, though. She's scolded by her nun teacher as being unruly and up to no good. But Dolores smiles mischievously, and we fade to 24 years later. By the way, I'm reading this summary right now because I can't remember every part of the movie really well, so I had to write it up beforehand in some bullet points. Just in case you notice me looking down, I'm cheating. So we fade to 24 years later. It's 1992, and Dolores Van Cartier is a grown woman working as a casino lounge singer in Reno, Nevada. She's the lead of the show with two backup singers, and they're performing a version of My Guy. After the set, Dolores is waiting on her boyfriend, Vince. He owns the casino, and this is Harvey Keitel. He finally shows up, gives her a fancy purple mink coat, but when Dolores looks at the label, she can see that the coat was previously owned by Vince's current wife. Angry that she's being gifted his wife's hand-me-downs, Dolores goes to find Vince and give him the what for. She finds him. She finds him by surprise, and unfortunately, she walks in on Vince committing murder with two of his goons. He orders his two henchmen to go chase down and kill Dolores. Dolores flees for her life and finds a local police lieutenant to confess to. He's running an investigation on Vince already, and he wants Dolores to testify in court, but she doesn't like the sound of that. Yeah. Am I recording any sound at all? Hello? Oh boy. Well, I hope a lot of that wasn't too quiet. I'll have to boost the sound in post-production. First video, oopsie-doopsies, I guess. Anyway, Dolores, who is played by Whoopi Goldberg, is running away from her casino-owning boyfriend, Vince, who is played by Harvey Keitel. She doesn't want to testify in court against her murderous boyfriend, but the lieutenant manages to convince her that they'll hide her in witness protection and protect her before trial. She'll be safe, so says the lieutenant. Famous last words, you know. But anyway, Dolores is sent to, of course, her least favorite place, a Roman Catholic church named St. Catherine's. It's located in San Francisco. Now, Dolores grew up in Catholic school, so she hates this idea. And the Reverend Mother of the convent, who is played by Maggie Smith of McGonagall fame, also hates this idea. However, she is convinced to allow Dolores to stay by the lieutenant and Maggie Smith says she'll let Whoopi Goldberg stay at the church, but she has to follow the 3 vows of poverty, obedience, and chastity. Just like their patron saint, Saint Catherine. Dolores can't stand the boring holy life. It's a big drag, and the church itself is struggling. It's got very few attendees on Sundays. And she's just feels like she's rotting away after that Bangin' Reno lounge singer life. I don't know, it could have been Bangin'. It's the biggest little city in the world, you know. Anyway, Dolores is fun. She's bored. She sneaks out to a bar that's right across the street from the convent. Now, Sister Mary Clarence, which is Dolores's fake witness protection name. You know, she's obviously the cool new nun, so a couple other nuns see her sneaking out, and they sneak out after her. They actually have a really good time. It's a great scene. Couple of nuns at a bar. What could go wrong, you know? But they get caught walking back into the convent that night, and as punishment, Reverend Mother Maggie Smith says that Sister Mary Clarence will have to join the choir, because she's already a musical person, right? And also, it'll keep her busy. The choir is a mess, though, so Dolores can't help herself as a professional singer. She takes charge of the choir to make them better singers. Then at the next Sunday Mass, the choir, which has only sung horribly in previous scenes, now, sings beautifully. And then they switch it up with a little gospel rock element infused with their performance of Hail, Holy Queen. Oh, Maria. It's a good scene. If you haven't seen it, it's totally worth the watch, you know. The Reverend Mother is pissed, but she has to swallow her displeasure because the Monsignor loves the performance. Not only did it liven up the Mass, but people started coming into the church when they heard the singing from outside. With Dolores' urging, the nuns start to help clean up the neighborhood and run a community garden. They also attract an increasing crowd of churchgoers every Sunday with their lively choir performances. It feels like good news, but it starts to attract media attention. And Sister Mary Clarence, aka Dolores, aka Whoopi Goldberg, ends up on the fucking TV. Oh, excuse me, the TV. The lieutenant then has to visit to chastise Dolores. She's supposed to be laying low, you know. And now she's been exposed on national TV. She promises to keep a lower profile, but then, as it turns out, the Pope has heard of the church. All the positive changes to their neighborhood, so he's coming to visit. Somehow this doesn't seem to expose her, but no worries. Cops are corrupt, and one such corrupt cop gets on Vince's payroll and finds out from the inside. The inside. Which department Dolores has been hiding in. Oh, I read that out badly. He finds out from the inside. He finds out from inside the apartment, which inside the department where Dolores has been hidden. At Movie Talk, we talk good. And now, I'm gonna switch it up with a little New Yorker Harvey Keitel impression for some of the whispers. Dolores, babe. Mwah. So because of his corrupt cop, Vince's goons find Dolores and kidnap her, of course. The convent choir was deep in preparation for the Pontiff's visit, so they notice he's going. I'm going a little Philly with it. Oh, Whoopsies. Of course, the convent choir was deep in preparation for the pontiff's visit, so they notice she's gone. Maggie Smith and the other nuns determine that the police can't act fast enough, so they decide to go to Reno themselves to save Whoopi Goldberg. They arrive in mass, and of course comedy ensues. Everyone's wearing nun habits, of course. This includes Dolores, so she manages to hide in a sea of nuns. Despite their efforts, Vince and his goons discover Dolores. Vince orders his men to kill her, but they refuse, fearing that she might have actually been converted to nunneryism. And then what? Are they gonna go to the bad place? So Vince is like, fine, I'll do it. So then he takes his gun, points it at Dolores. And he makes, I'm trying to shift a leg here, hold on. Where it's the pillow fort is not the largest piece of real estate. Anyway, Vince manages to point the gun at Dolores, and he's trying to kill her, but ultimately, that's not the way it goes, because a lieutenant comes in, and oh god, we're changing up everything. The lieutenant comes in and fucking whacks him, in the shoulder with his gun. Gives him a big old bleedy hole, if you know what I mean, right in his shoulder. So Harvey's not dead, but he got whacked, so he couldn't kill Dolores, and now he's gone to trial. And the church and Whoopi Goldberg all live happily ever after. Now this is one of those movies that's just a classic. It's just so much fun. If you don't like this movie, there might be something wrong with you. That's kind of my opinion on this one. It's a rootin' tootin' hootin' good time, as they say. I think Whoopi Goldberg might have said that. In a universe that isn't this one. I hope the head rubbing trigger has really worn through, and that you've enjoyed the other themed triggers that I filtered in during this video. I think I'm going to have bigger opinions in future videos. Maybe I'll do some movies I don't like, where it's easier to get all up in a movie's business. But for a movie like this, it's just a solid flick. If you haven't seen